Hello everyone and welcome to the very first episode of Quarks Technosoft podcast series. Today we have a very special guest with us. He has been with us for more than 7 years. He started his journey as a designer and later on found his venture as a developer and turned out to be an amazing full stack developer. So for everyone who is looking to find ways how to build a career in IT industry, this is the one podcast you definitely want to watch. Please welcome Piyush Modi.
Thank you.
Hi Piyush, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much. So Piyush, as I've already said in your introduction that you have been with Quarks for more than 7 years and your entire experience is much more than that. So let's talk about your beginnings. Like, how did you start and what your early career was like? What happened after your education?
Sure. So I started, I started in college only. I used to work for a startup known as Priamart. And before starting in that startup, actually I was working as a designer. I had a keen interest in designing things. Like I used to work in Photoshop, Illustrator, XT, right? And after that, once I started in that startup known as Priamart, I kind of developed a very keen interest in developing, and I worked in AngularJS in that project, and from there my journey started. I started in my first company known as Prosperex, which by the way was also developed by Quarks. So I didn't know at that time when I joined Prosperex. So yeah, from there my development journey started, and then I came to Quarks.
So Piyush, आप जब बता रहे हो कि you started as a developer and you started as a designer and then you translated as a developer, it sounds very easy, but in real life it's not that easy, right?
Well, I actually had a very good interest in web designing. So it was kind of, for me it was kind of both things. So I was doing Photoshop and Illustrator. At the same time I was also learning HTML, CSS and JavaScript.
Okay.
So that was my college. That's all this that I learned in my college. And from when I started my professional journey, I started working in AngularJS and other front-end frameworks that are currently used.
So you mentioned that you started for a startup at your hometown, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that. What was that startup? What was the business proposition? What was the service you were providing?
Sure. So that startup was mainly on grocery, online grocery. So this I'm talking about 2015. So at that time, Big Basket and Grofers were there in the market, but in Pilani there was nothing through which anyone can buy online groceries. So it was an idea that we thought it could boom, and nowadays you can see with all these quick commerce, right? But at that time we had the similar idea back in 2015. We had a model in which people can come and add groceries to their basket and they will be delivered within hours to their doorstep. So that's what we did at that time.
So what were the challenges? Like, is it still operational? What was the end result of it?
No, because of some personal reasons, it had to be shut down. But we had good output on that. So we were able to like get around 70 to 80,000 rupees orders per day.
Okay,
so
that's great.
Yeah, that was the and the business model was simple because actually one of the founding members already had a shop through which we kind of used to get all the products which we were selling online.
Okay. So Piyush, as you know that the purpose of this discussion is to understand the IT as a career field as well as an industry, like for the companies how they can leverage IT for growth and optimize their production, optimize their services, deliver better services to their clients. So in that direction, I want to ask you that what has changed since you have started, because it has been a long time. So what has changed? What do you think that in the entirety of your career, what has changed the way people are taking IT services for the efficiency of their processes?
Sure. So I'll tell what I used to do back in college and when I started in my professional journey. So I was in a product-based company in the starting. So one thing that I can say is previously there was no automation and there was no DevOps that was there, but it was not on the mainstream. It was it was on the back seat. Now those things had taken the front seat.
Okay.
That DevOps and automation are mandatory.
Can you like for a layman, can you just very quickly explain what DevOps means?
DevOps, you can say all the things that we can use for you can say deployments, deploying website applications and all, right? So that can be infrastructure, what all things. So basically, when you develop a project or whenever you develop an application, that needs some space somewhere through which that can be delivered to the end users. Okay. So that space, how it should be delivered to the users, that's what category of DevOps you can say. It's one part of it. There are so many other things. Yeah. That's one part of it. Yeah.
Okay.
And automation, I can say that, for example, if you have to deploy any website to somewhere, so there are two ways. One is through automation, one is directly manually, right? So automation means that you have some CI/CD pipelines, continuous integration and deployment pipelines, through which your with the click of a button or you just push to a branch and the deployment will happen. Okay. That's what CI/CD is. So these are the kind of things that has taken front seat. Previously, it was not there. I mean, they had started booming, but it was not there. Then secondly, I'll say AI also is there. That was not there at the time when I started. So now AI is also there to help you. You can use use AI to develop great many things, right? So these I think are the two main things that were not there when I started. And third, I can say is at that time we had project mindset. So there was, I mean, some companies were on the product mindset, but major ones are working on the project mindset.
Can you just quickly tell our viewers that what's the difference between a product mindset and a project mindset?
Okay, so project mindset, I can say that there are three things that that a project mindset company would be working on: delivery, timeline, and scoping, right? So meaning a project minded company or a person will just see what needs to be developed, what is the timeline for it, and what is the end result. That's all. They will just care about these things. But a product minded company and a person would see in a direction where they will be not just taking on what is the output. They will not be just vendors, I'll say. They will be walking side by side with the owners and they will be innovating the solution. They will be helping the client in a way that will be the output should be how the user is satisfied. User satisfaction is mainly
is the most important criteria.
Correct.
Rather than just getting the checklist.
Yes, checklist. Yeah. So basically, that's the main value of a product-minded company.
Okay, so it's pretty obvious that how that is more beneficial for a project team. That you are just not there to meet the checkpoints, but you are actually delivering some value. But what do you think? What are the challenges when you switch your ideology? What are the challenges you face when you try to deliver actual value instead of just making sure that your boss is happy with you?
Yeah. So sometimes what happens that there's a set scope that has been given to us, but when we are developing, some things changed on the client end, and we had to change our way, whatever way we are working on, right? So that would hamper the timelines. So if we are in a product mindset, then we'll basically deliver whatever the first requirement was. We'll not take the change request, right? So one of the things is when we are working in a product mindset, right, then we generally feel what the client wants to deliver. So we kind of take those decisions whether to take the requirement or not, deliver that.
Okay, so what I can understand is going forward as project mindset is definitely taking over. So just doing your job is not enough. You have to understand what is the requirement and how you have to deliver. Yeah. So naturally, I want to ask this question: What makes a great developer in 2025?
Okay, so I'll say there are so many things out there currently, but I think there are around 4 to 5 things that a person should consider to make a great developer. First is they should like learn how to use AI. They should not compete against it. They should see how we can use the AI in the right way. That is first.
Yeah.
Second is person should be going in the full stack fluency, right? A person can have expertise in either front end or back end, that's okay, but at the same time they should have at least knowledge in both the things, front end back end. If you're a front end developer, you should go for design as well as back end. If you're a back end developer, at least you should go for the front end development as well, right? And third would be automation, right? DevOps and automation. So a person should know how to create CI/CD pipelines. A person should know how to at least I think a person should know Docker. That's the basic, right? So that's how I see it. And the last thing would be soft skills. For example, communication, taking ownership. So these are kind of things that will stand you out. This is something that has to be there along with all.
Okay, so this brings us to a very interesting point, because whenever we are trying to expand our team, whenever we are trying to hire new people, so we have this dilemma that whether we should be focusing more on soft skills or for technical skills like communication, is it more important, or let's say the coding expertise, is it more important? So I want to hear from the horse's mouth. What do you think, Piyush? What's more important?
So I'll say what I do actually at the time when they are taking interview. So I basically see firstly how the candidate is thinking, how is able to approach a problem, how is he able to solve the problem. That is first thing, problem solving. Second is how well he is able to define or explain things, right? That is like equally important. I mean, first is obviously they have to solve the problem. Second is how
to execute
it, how to explain it, right? So these are the two main things that I usually see whenever we are doing an interview. Third would be the hard skills that the person have, right? So when we are taking an interview, it depends on the what type of interview we are taking for what technology. The third would be the hard skills, whether the person has the right skills for the job or not. So these are the three main things that we look after.
Okay, so I know a lot of people who have just started their career in IT, or maybe they are like 2-3 years down the line. They're watching this interview right now. So just talking to them, what do you think are some of the most crucial skill sets a young IT professional should have in 2025?
Okay, so I'll say the very first thing would be to have knowledge in web stack, like JavaScript. I'll say that is one of the major thing that a person should learn, because nowadays everything can be done through JavaScript, be it front end, be it back end, right? So JavaScript is the base that they can learn. Once they learn JavaScript, then they can approach any framework or technology, like whether they want to go back end or front end, right? They can go anyway.
Okay.
But like in the starting it is okay, but with time they should develop full stack understanding, right? But in the starting they should choose whether they want to go with the back end or the front end. Once they have familiarity with that, then they should know basics of VCS, version control system.
Okay.
For example, GitHub, right? Because now once you develop something, you have to push it somewhere, right? Because development is a collaboration effort. It's not a single person effort, it's a collaborative effort. So you should know VCS, version control system. Everybody should know that, right? Then when you are starting, it's okay, but over time you should develop communication and ownership skills as well, right? Because that is equally important, that you are able to explain and communicate better, as well as you are able to take ownership of the task that has been given to you.
Yeah. So what I understood from your answer is that it's a combination of hard skills and soft skills.
Yeah, that you can say.
And as important as hard skills are, being able to deliver the results, being able to understand the problem, give a logical explanation to it, converting into a code, you also have to communicate it better to your peers, because it's a collaborative effort, and also to the people who are expecting solutions from you.
Sure.
Because if you are able to create something and not people are not able to use it, then that solution is of no use.
No, that's true. So what I'll say is, in the starting of your career, that's fine that you don't have that much of communication skills or like ownership skills. But over the period of like 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you have to develop that skill.
So all of you who are watching this right now, and all of you developers who are watching right now, who think it's enough to learn how to be a good developer or how to code amazing codes, it's not enough. You have to have that aptitude, that ability to communicate with your team, and it doesn't have to be in English. आप हिंदी में बात कर सकते हो, आप मलयालम, तेलुगु, मराठी, जो भी आपकी टीम की लैंग्वेज है. It does not matter what language you are picking. I'm not talking about a language particularly कि आपको इंग्लिश में ही बात करनी है, but whatever the medium is, you have to communicate it to your team what you're working on, what your problems are, and what solutions you are trying to find. Otherwise, your effort will be isolated, it will be in a silo, and it will not give the result which can come when you work with your team. So that's one very important thing you should consider.
Yeah, truly said.
Thank you. So moving forward, here comes the next segment of our conversation. It's very interesting. Lots of people have talked about it on our social media platforms, on any other platform we have observed. So AI.
Okay.
AI and development. So we'll particularly talk about AI and development. We have been listening a lot of things about AI. So I want to know, is it a hype or is it a help?
I'd say it's a help. So people actually don't think of it as a help. They see as a competition, right? So that mindset I think has to change.
मतलब अभी ऐसा मतलब लोगों को लगता है कि AI आएगा 2030 तक 1 लाख जॉब्स चली जाएंगी इंडिया से, 10 लाख जॉब. I know these are catchy headlines and people tend to click और देखते हैं, but क्या actually ऐसा कुछ हो रहा है या फिर?
I'll say a little bit of this is true, not entirely, like 5 to 10% of that is true, because some of the repetitive tasks are actually done by AI very well, right? So those kind of jobs I can say are going away, but that's it. For now, that's
You're saying entry level jobs.
Entry level jobs, right? But when it comes to designing solutions, building architecture, right, you need a person. AI is there to help you. It's not there to compete with you. Exactly. So you have to learn how to use it with to your benefit so that you can create very good solutions.
Okay. So recently I read a very interesting line that AI is not going to take your job, but somebody using AI will.
Well, yeah, that's very true.
So if you're watching it, learn AI, learn your AI tools, learn how to prompt. And nowadays there are so many different platforms you can go to very cheap. You can learn how to give a executable command to a AI model and get amazing results out of it. So don't think AI is your enemy. Use it in your favor. And definitely down the line, some man-hour reduction is going to be there. But make sure you are on the right side of the team. That's the only advice we can give right now. Because the future is conspicuous and we are not sure what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So going forward, what are some of your favorite AI tools?
I mainly use GitHub Copilot and I'll say ChatGPT because those are the two things that help me in my development, in my day-to-day development. It makes it faster, right? I kind of don't do repetitive tasks. I kind of use AI for that. I use AI for testing, right? I use AI when we have any like small amount of code that we have to write. We can use AI for that as well, right? So yeah, it helps basically.
Do you think the free models are good enough, or one should opt for paid models?
To start with, I think free models are good. You don't have to pay for them, right? When you are developing something that is, when you're talking about like designing complex solutions, right? That's where you need some complex thinking, some complex models, right? So that's where you need it. But for starting, for normal development, you don't need it. Free model is good enough.
So Piyush, you are already like in contact. I know for sure that you are in contact for a lot of clients. You are explaining solutions to them. How this advent of AI has changed the client behavior? Do you think it has put a lot more pressure on the development teams and the solution providers?
Uh, I'll say there's only one thing where the shift has happened, and that is the delivery timeline. Because of the AI, I think clients are more inclined to deliver faster. That's, I think, one of the changes that I've seen. Other than that, I don't think there's any other challenges or
So
changes.
there are no unrealistic expectations from clients' part.
I'll say sometimes because of the AI, they think that the things can be done faster. And in general, because people are there to work on it, AI is there just to help the people, right? So it can, for a certain level, it can increase, but not that much. So that's the thing that I can say. I know that for the development companies, it is a little bit in the bad light, but at the same time, because AI is making the work faster, we are also able to deliver faster. So that's, we are using it on our advantage.
So it's again, it's a tool.
Yeah.
It's not something which is driving the conversation. It's something which is just helping you deliver faster.
Correct.
Exactly. Great. So now I'll come to the section where we talk about your journey at Quarks precisely.
Okay.
And I just want to know that you have been working at Quarks, you have been working with us for a very long time now.
Yeah.
It's been 7 years almost.
Yeah.
So tell me about your journey. Tell me how it started, how it happened, and also why you have been working with us for such a long time.
Okay, so I'll start with how it happened. So I was actually working in a different product known as Prosperex at the time when I joined here. So I didn't know at the time about Quarks. My last company's CEO actually introduced me to Vipin, and through which I got to know about this opportunity, and from there my journey started. And that's when I got to know that Prosperex was also developed by Quarks.
Okay.
Yeah. So from there the journey started, and when I joined Quarks, I was basically a front-end developer with just AngularJS skills, front-end HTML, CSS skills, and the designing skills. Right. I had some knowledge about deployments and analytics. That's all. After joining Quarks, it has been a transformative journey. I was able to learn so many things. I started as a front-end developer. Now I am working as a modern developer, right, a full stack developer. And initially when I started, I mainly worked on Angular, React, Vue.js, right, different sets of things, Next.js, then micro frontends, server-side rendering, right. There are so many opportunities that come along, and with each project that I delivered, I learned something new. So that's the main thing that I think Quarks has, that it has so many exposures, so many opportunities. It's just that you have to grab it.
You have helped a lot of people start their career. You have hired new people in your team. You have hired freshers. So I just wanted to ask, what are some of the most important skills a new developer should focus on in 2025? And also, what are some of the most important tips you would want to give to somebody who's starting out?
Okay, so firstly, I'll say that everyone should learn the fundamentals, right? The basics should be clear. The basic concept should be clear. Variable, loops, functions, data structure, right? Those things, they should have that idea, right? Fundamental should be clear. Then second is just grab any language that they think they can learn and start on it, right?
HTML?
I'll more of like programming language. I'll not say scripting language. Yeah, more kind of a programming language they should pick up. They can. For now I think that they can pick up JavaScript, because that is something that we can use in both front end and back end, right? Nowadays. So I'll say start with any language. I think it should be JavaScript that they should start with. Then third would be they should develop Git skills, like version control system skills, VCS skills, Git or GitHub or Bitbucket, right? Whichever, because development is a collaborative effort, right? So every code will be going somewhere so that other people can also work, right? So they should learn the fundamentals. They should work on any language, pick up any language. I'll prefer JavaScript. then they should learn VCS.
Why JavaScript?
As I told earlier, that you can do anything with JavaScript, right? Front end, back end, then mobile technologies. You can do all these three. You can create a mobile application, be it iOS or Android. You can create websites. You can create like complex backend systems as well. So that's why JavaScript is something that a person should know.
Okay. So what is the learning curve for somebody who has maybe completed their graduation computer science or something like that, and they have joined a new company? What is the learning curve for them to become a master in JavaScript or a similar technology?
Okay, so I'll say if they are good with the basics, right? If they are good with the fundamentals, then they should not take more than 2 to 3 months to like have a good understanding of JavaScript, right? I mean, it's a process. You will not be like able to do things on like third month if you start, right? It will be a process. You'll have to practice daily. You'll have to work on it daily. But I think 2 to 3 months is a good amount of time in which a person can start in JavaScript.
So, do you think Piyush AI is going to make coding obsolete?
No, I don't think that. I think for at least 5-10 years, AI should be used as a helper. AI is there to help you. AI is there to not compete with you. You should embrace it. You should embrace properly, right? So I think AI can do smaller jobs for you as a developer, right? But it cannot like build complex systems yet. So that's where we have to be more as a person, as a human being. You have to be more going in the direction where you can build solution designs, you can build architectures, right? Yeah.
Okay. So what is it that AI cannot do right now and what we can do? Can you explain it a little bit that what is that human aspect that we can bring on the table that a machine generated or machine learned system cannot do right now?
Yeah, so basically when it comes to a business, right? So we have a business model which we have to develop. So building that particular logic of entire application, right? That is something that currently humans are needed. Right? Creating complex solution, end-to-end solution for anything. Logical, I mean, I'll say end-to-end solutions. For example, if we want to build a e-commerce application, right? So AI, what they can give you, they can give you the boilerplate of doing it, right? But you have to be there to like design the entire infrastructure for it and design the entire solution for it. So that's where I'll say that AI is going in that direction. I mean, now we can do that with AI, but it's not something that is very concrete. It will take so much amount of time that through which AI will reach that particular position. But yeah, if we master that as a human being, then of course there's no one to stop us. And AI is there to just help us. So we should use it in that way.
So there is so much clutter on the internet right now about AI and all it can do. What would be your tips to people who are starting out or people who are like well into their career? What are some of the things they should avoid when it comes to AI backing or AI technology or AI support?
So I'll say AI is there to help. So don't blindly copy paste. Just don't write a prompt to AI and whatever solution it gives directly, don't copy paste it. You have to see what it is giving you. You have to still refactor the code. You have to still do things your way, right? So that's one thing that I'll definitely say to avoid. Second is, due to AI, I think people are going in their comfort zone. They are not thinking critically. They are not doing the right kind of thinking. They are just using AI to do things. So that is something that a person should avoid. They should use their mind. They should not be sitting in their comfort zone. They should be going out of it. It's a regular process, right? You have to learn daily.
Yeah.
So that's what I feel. These are the two main things a person should avoid.
Great. So Piyush, now we have come to the last section of our conversation. This is the rapid fire round where I'll be asking you a few questions directly and you can give me a short answer, you can give me a long answer. It's called rapid fire, but it's not exactly rapid fire. I'm just asking you a few questions and you can give me quick answers if you can.
Sure.
So here's the first question. What tech trend do you think is overrated?
I'll say metaverse because there's no real world application that we have still seen. Right? It is not that much of reality that we can
It's
see.
more of a novelty style.
Yes.
You have those takes and
Yes.
just trying to make some presentations through it. There's no real world applications.
Correct. So
What do you think about virtual reality? Has it gone somewhere? Like I saw a few glasses, Google Lens came over and something like that, but nothing much has happened recently.
yeah, so the reason why I think it has not been picked up is because people who are into technology, they are loving computers, right? And the people who are not in technology, they want to explore the real world. So this virtual reality is something that people who want to hide from the reality, that's where it actually is coming in use. So that's why it is not booming, because there is a less amount of people who actually wants to do something on that. So that's why it's not booming.
But do you think there is a real world application to it? Because I certainly think so.
I mean, yeah, definitely there can be. There can be some of the applications that can be built with virtual reality, but because the people are not adopting it, that's why nobody is going in that direction.
I remember, I should not mention the company's name, but there's this Eyeear company, and they've implemented that virtual technology solution where anyone could just pick up any frame, any color, and they could use it on their face and they could see how it would look. And I think it was a pretty good solution because it was 70-80% exactly how it's going to look in the real life. It's not perfect, but you get an idea.
Yeah.
So I think there can be many more applications of this technology in that regard. In entertainment also, I remember watching, like, for the first time when I watched a 3D movie or a 360-degree, 540-degree movie where there were like other effects going on. So I think this is an embellishment into that direction also. That now you can give much more immersive experience to audience and people who are expecting much more than just looking up 2D image or something like that. So yeah, okay. So next question. Which is your most used dev tool?
I'll say VS Code, or Visual Studio Code.
Pretty standard. Everyone is using it. I'm not a developer, I use it. Okay. One skill every developer should master in 2025.
I would say writing clean and maintainable code. That's something that a person should master, because
what do you mean by clean code?
So what happens, right? Whenever we are developing, as the complexity begins, we tend to write codes based on the feedback, based on whatever suggestions we have taken from AI, and the code becomes messy, right? So a person should always try to write with the proper requirement. When the requirement is clear, right, then they will be able to write better code, better quality code, because they know what to write. So they should have the requirement correctly in their mind. That way they can write proper code. They will require a little bit of help of AI and all other stuff, but still the code will be maintainable, it will be scalable, right? So that's what a person should master.
So if you're listening carefully, soft skill came first, communication came first, understanding the problem came first, and the hard skill, the development, came later. So work on that. Next question. One coding language you wish would disappear?
Okay. I don't want to say it, but I think PHP.
Because it's very heavy?
I'll say because I think it's time. It has so many security concerns, right? So I think that's the main reason I'll say it has to go away. Yeah.
Sorry, PHP. Okay, so this is a personal one. Working from home, working from office, or hybrid?
Okay. I think hybrid, because that way you can, because I felt that working from home has been more productive for me. So when you want to collaborate with the team, you should be coming to office. But when you want to deliver something, when you want to do focused work, you should be working.
Yeah, that's my ideology too. Like when I'm working about conception, creating new ideas, working on something creative, I want my peace, I want my space. But when I have to do something like this, shoot a video or talk to somebody and get more insights about what's happening in the industry, I have to come out and talk to people and have a collaborative environment. So Piyush, tell me, which is one tech myth you're tired of hearing?
I think I always hear that you should learn every framework that is out there. That's not required. If you kind of like learn the basics, learn the fundamentals, and learn a particular language, then that's enough. Whenever work comes, you will be able to grasp it faster. And I think that's one of the techniques that I think should not be there.
Okay. Okay, so Piyush, which is the best career advice you ever got?
I'll say two advices that I heard, I got. So one is that you should stick to your fundamentals, right? As I explained last time, right? Everyone should be good enough in their fundamentals. That is one thing. Second is that I should be leading. Initially I started just as a normal developer. I didn't had much interest in leading, but over time I found that advice very helpful.
So you're saying that thinking about leadership early in your career is going to give good results down the line, where you're in a middle level or maybe a high level position.
Yes.
Great. One trait you instantly spot in a great developer?
I'll say curiosity. Like they should not be asking how, but firstly they should be learning the why of whatever they want to build. So that I think is one of the biggest trait a developer can have.
Okay. Slack versus Teams versus Gmail?
I think Slack I'll prefer. Slack, Teams I
more or less the same.
Same, yeah.
So modern communication.
Modern communication, yeah. It's precise, it's fast.
Yeah, it's comprehensive. You don't need to switch in different applications. You can be at one place and have a good workflow going on. Remember. Okay. Excuse me. What's harder to build? Building a tech or building a team?
I'll say team, because techs can be built by anyone. Now AI is there to help you as well, right? But team building is something that takes effort, that takes time. So building a team is much harder. Finding the right kind of people is very hard.
Dark mode versus light mode?
Dark mode.
Okay, me too. Okay, so Piyush, one developer habit that needs to die in 2025?
They should be curious. They should not be
dull.
Yeah. That's what I feel. They should not be sitting in their comfort zone. They should not be doing things blindly, right? These are the kind of things that I've seen in the past. So a person should be curious enough to learn things. A person should be like not be sitting in their comfort zone. If something is given to develop them, they should pick it up. Instead of saying, how will I do it? I don't know. They should pick it up.
Okay, so Piyush, what's next for you?
Okay, so for me, I think it's mainly to have the mastery in both the front end and the back end, right? That is my main goal for the next few years, right? And then having architectural mindset, solving complex problems, building solutions, right? So that's what I'm focusing on the next. Yeah.
Great. All right, friends, there you have it. The entire conversation with Piyush Modi, a front-end and back-end full-stack developer, a person who has started as a designer and later on found its way to become a successful product developer in itself. If you have any questions, you can send us your messages or your mails at contact@qtsolve.com. Check out our website, www.qtsolve.com. Check out our LinkedIn at Quarks Technosoft, and check out Piyush Modi on LinkedIn as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks. You, Piyush.